Hey guys, it's Stephen here, back with another video. A very late match preview on this Tuesday night as Man City are set to play Burnley, probably today when you're watching this, if I'm being honest. I wanted to wait until the embargoed press conference today to see what Pep had to say as well, because there's a lot of talk about his future early on in the day, and I was like, I hope there's no more quotes coming out later on that were negative. They weren't. It's all absolutely good. There's also more talk about Haaland and Bruyne and so on, so I thought it was worth hanging on. So here we are today. Of course, there's loads to talk about. There's loads of quotes from Guardiola about the captain, Kyle Walker, about his future, about Haaland, about team news and so on. And of course, we'll look at a little bit about Burnley and their very indifferent form this season, and loads more stuff ahead of this game. Of course, Vincent Kompany will be returning to the Eithad. Our captain, fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the touchline. We'll be at the game tomorrow, so there'll be no watch long, unfortunately. But hopefully, this should be a fun video. It comes from that game as well. I'm going down with my dad, so I might do a little mini vlog or something like that. But anyway, I do want to say before I jump into this video is sponsored by the wonderful people over at Football Prizes. And as you can see on screen next to me, there's a signed and framed, custom framed Erling Haaland shirt, the record breaker, the best striker in the world. The absolute phenomenon that is Erling Haaland. You could win that shirt. Imagine that on your bedroom wall or your office wall, or wherever, your kitchen wall, if you want to put a Haaland shirt on your kitchen wall, wherever. You have to enter by tomorrow if you're watching this on Tuesday, or by Wednesday if you're watching this on Monday night. The competition ends on Wednesday the 7th of February at 7:30 p.m. Actually, you've got a while left, actually. No, you've got over a week left. You've got over a week left to enter. It's a one-of-a-kind, brilliant prize. You've got over a week left to enter, so all is well there. Click the link in the description right now, and good luck. And hopefully one of the esteemed company followers wins the Erling Haaland signed shirt. That would be absolutely wonderful. So let's talk about this game of football, because this game of football is going to be an interesting game of football. It really is. Burnley at home feels quite friendly right now. Burnley are currently sat in 19th, of course. It is the return of Vincent Kompany to the sidelines of the Eithad Stadium. Life hasn't been great for him. We did, of course, beat them in the first game of the season. 3-0. Of course, that was the game where Erling Haaland grabbed the brace for De Bruyne. Suddenly dashed our host for a lot of the season with an injury. He's now back many months later, and Vinny hasn't had a great time over at Burnley. We'll get onto them more a little bit later. You'd think on paper this would be a reasonably easy one for Manchester City Football Club. You know, we're looking pretty good right now. Burnley aren't expecting much from a game like this, but it's never that simple. It never is, and Guardiola, of course, is no man's fool. He'll understand that. There was loads said in the press conferences today. Immediately, Guardiola was asked about Kyle Walker. Now, obviously, there's a lot of noise around Kyle Walker. A lot of personal issues going around Kyle Walker. A lot of City fans and a lot of journalists and a lot of debates online have been about the validity of Kyle Walker's captaincy, because he sort of has been an absolute mess in the press, if we're being honest. Lots of tales of adultery and just an absolute mess, basically. It really is a mess. And fans, understandably, when we've had Fernandinho, David Silva, Vincent Kompany, of course, people like that. Players of such integrity find it a little bit difficult to stomach, and I get that. I absolutely do. Guardiola was asked about it. He said absolutely. If he would carry on as captain, he said absolutely, because it's a decision for the team and not mine. He said, I don't want to talk about it. He said, I support him and his family. I don't talk about personal things. And I respect that. Guardiola's not going to sit there and analyse the front page of The Sun and Kyle Walker, is he? Look, I sort of share the view most people do, that I think, I'd like the captain of Man City to be an upstanding, wonderful, hugely likeable person. And if we're being honest, Kyle Walker doesn't tick those boxes currently. I'm sure he's likeable to his teammates, but he's in the tabloids far too often for me. But it is what it is. I mean, as long as the players don't care, ultimately that's all that matters. And I think the view of the captain's armband is also a little bit outdated. I feel that way sometimes, but I keep trying to rein myself in and remember that football isn't about just the guy who wears the armband. It's symbolic, Rodri is still a captain, Diaz is still a captain, De Bruyne is still a captain, Stones is still a captain, Bernardo, if he wants to be, still a captain, Edison. They're all still captains. It's a meritocracy in that dressing room, I guarantee you. Kyle Walker's voice does not carry more weight than the rest of them. I tell you that now. That's what makes this Manchester City side so successful. He walks up there, lifts the trophies, but other than that, it's a very even dressing room. Guardiola, of course, was asked about his future. There was loads of quotes. He said what he always does. He did the whole, a year and a half is a long time in football. I might not have the dressing room by then. I might have it by then. We'll see when it gets to that point. But largely, he said very positive things. I quote, he said, I said many times, I have everything a manager could dream for Man City. I have everything. The hierarchy support me. The players support me. We have a good environment. Still, I feel good at City, and one day it'll finish, but I'm not thinking about that right now. That's all I need. I think if City are still doing well, and I don't see any reason why they won't be, I think Guardiola will hang on. I think he will. I think he'll stay around, and I think he'll be there for at least 10 years minimum. Fingers crossed he will be. Guardiola also got a little bit reflective on Erling Haaland. He was asked obviously about his time away, and he said, maybe I think it helps be fresh, and now it's, wow, I want to play. I want to help the team and score goals. That's why maybe for the last part of the season, maybe it will help us. Hopefully it's going to happen. He talks about Haaland and the injured players being bored of not playing. And to be honest, I think he's probably right. I think that Haaland and De Bruyne and Stones and others coming back after injuries, they could feel motivated to be involved because Haaland has been out for a decent amount of time. And Pep raised a very good point. He said, on Haaland's form last season, he said it was the first season in his life he played this amount of games. Never ever played this amount. And the tension for the finals that we had, the FA Cup, the Champions League, the Premier League, he was a little bit tired mentally. I think that's probably true. Haaland wasn't at his best in form towards the end of last season. But as Guardiola pointed out, he'd been injured before quite a lot, never played that many games. His teams had never gone that far in that many competitions. It was a new experience for still a very young man. Haaland presents this picture of perfection and a guy who's not fazed by anything, but he's still only a young man, and that was an awful lot for him to deal with as well. And I think Guardiola is right to point he'll be more experienced, and I think he's got an awful lot to be motivated by, to come back and hopefully fire this team to more success. That leads me nicely onto the team news. Now, Guardiola did also confirm that he's available. He said he will be selected, the first time he's back. About Haaland. So Haaland is available for selection. There are some rumours going around from one of those FPL leakers that he won't start tomorrow. But Guardiola also did say afterwards that he's not decided yet. He said, I want to see training. Still, I didn't think much about a team, the selection a little bit, but I have to see something because Vincent Kompany makes different shapes and I have to reflect a little bit more. He said Haaland feels better. 6 trainings in a row and feels good. That's the best news. No pain, which is good. But it's been 2 months out and the rhythm, but maybe he's good from the beginning to start and maybe from the last minute. We will see. So it sounds like he's not made his mind up yet. I think he might start, We'll see. The thing is, people were saying online, we shouldn't risk him. But it's not the kind of injury you can really risk. It was just, he had a fracture. Fractures just heal or they don't heal. If it was muscular, I'd understand the concerns. But if the pain goes, it's healed, basically. And I think they've probably been calm and patient on that. And I think he is healed. It's just, once again, rhythm. And I'm sure he probably is fine. Guardiola also said, by the way, everyone is training now. Akanji's back, Stones, De Bruyne. So the whole squad is back training. I don't know if Akanji's available tomorrow, but everyone's training. So we've got a squad fully back in training, and how nice is that? Yeah, he said Manu is back. He trained yesterday, doesn't feel anything in his knee. It's really good news. So we've got a complete first team squad. Lovely stuff. Which does mean the predicted 11 gets trickier and trickier and trickier. Now, of course, Ederson will be in goal. Ortega's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. He was great the other night, but Ederson will return between the sticks almost certainly. Though Ortega, I think we might lose Ortega, by the way, because he's too good to be number 2, isn't he? He was so good the other night. I don't see anything changing from the defence. The defence was excellent against Spurs. Stones is not fully fit yet. Akanji not fully back. Walker, Diaz, Ake, Vardiol seems locked in for me because we limited the Spurs side to just one shot. A very, very good Spurs side. We're absolutely excellent. So I think it's going to be that back four. I think we're going to see changes here because I think we're going to see KDB get a start, which means something's got to change. I'm going to see Rodri and Silva are sort of going to play behind Kevin De Bruyne with Foden and Grealish as wingers. I thought about Kovacic deserving a start. He absolutely does. But then, do you know what? Maybe he does. Maybe Kovacic gets a start alongside Rodri and De Silva gets a rest in this game. Maybe Foden gets a rest. Someone is going to sit out, but I'm tempted to say it'll be Kovacic because I think Foden and Silva are more likely to start than Kovacic. But Kovacic does not deserve right now to not be in the team because he's been excellent. My initial gut says Rodri, Silva, Foden, KDB, and I think Jack Grealish gets a rare start recently. Bob's had a start, Doku's been available. I think Grealish gets a start there. It's really hard to call, but I got a feeling Silva's going to play. I think we'll see Rodri, then Silva, KDB as sort of the midfielders ahead of him. I think it makes an awful lot of sense. And Grealish, and then probably Alvarez through the middle. I don't think Haaland's going to start. Maybe 50-50, but I think it's going to be Alvarez, I reckon. Then all of a sudden, the bench, then, if it is Alvarez, you got some likes of Ortega, Stones, Gomez, Nunes, Kovacic, Bob, Doku, Haaland. It's looking good. It's looking an awful lot better. So let's get to Burnley. Burnley in a weird place right now. They're currently sat 19th. The form isn't that great. And the thing about Burnley, they've sort of changed. You know, Guardiola, he was right to say, he says, I have a lot of respect for Vincent Kompany. We have to be careful, prepare as well as possible. As he said, Burnley attack differently to Spurs, for example, so that's why you have to defend differently. But Burnley have, like, one thing, I was doing a little bit of research, and Burnley aren't really currently playing like the Burnley that everyone knows. If you hark back to the start of the season, you know, Burnley, even when they were losing, they were keeping possession, playing lovely football, you know. They lost to Villa, but they had 60% possession. They lost to United 1-0 and had 73% possession. They kept the ball against United perfectly. It's just changed recently. I've looked at all the stats, and they're often the inferior side when it comes to keeping the ball. Luton went to Turf Moor and had 62% possession. So Burnley aren't keeping the ball anywhere near as nicely as they used to. And their form right now is just not as good, you know. And I'm looking at the results right now. 1-1 against Luton at home. They lost to Spurs, lost to Villa, they lost to Liverpool. They did beat Fulham 2-0, which is obviously a decent result for them away from home. But even that, you know, came with only 34% possession. That's so un-Burnley-like that it is quite confusing to watch them play this way. Look, I do think when we get onto the prediction here, I do think City have got too much here for Burnley. This could be comfortable. We beat them 5-0 a few times in recent history. I do think this is going to be reasonably comfortable, you know. I've just, by the way, got distracted by Nicola's playing Spider-Man 2 right now. And I turn around and she's like that meme cat. Because she's seen a big plot spoiler right now, and she's very excited to see it. Spider-Man 2. But anyway, I do think Spider-Man, we'll sweep up pretty easily on the mean streets of East Manchester. Maybe if Spider-Man scores, Alvarez. I'll be distracted. She's sat next to me playing Spider-Man 2. I'm going to say City will win this comfortably, 4-0. I think Haaland, even if he doesn't start, scores. I think De Bruyne is going to have a cracker. I'm feeling pretty comfortable with this game of football. I don't know, I think Burnley right now aren't in a good place. They're not keeping the ball as well as they are. I think they'll go into defensive mode, and I've got a feeling it'll be reasonably comfortable for Man City. That's my prediction. Guys, check out check out Football Prizes. The link in the description below to win a signed and framed Erling Haaland shirt. For now, though, have a wonderful day. Come on, you Blues, and I'll be hopefully having a little vlog up online from the game in a bit. Bye bye.